Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
This is the closing bell on the Stock Movers Report. The companies making moves at the close of U.S. trading with Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec, Romaine Bostick, and Katie Greifeld.
Yeah, we're getting earnings right now. Qorvo crossing the wire, and so too is Texas Instruments, a chip maker, but not necessarily the sexy ones that we like to talk about here, industrials, automotives. The company appears to have missed on its fourth quarter EPS. For the fourth quarter, $1.27. The street was looking for $1.30. That's what it actually had posted a year ago, so a drop year over year and slightly below street estimates. Revenue did grow up about 10%, but just in line with estimates at about $4.42 billion. 14% growth in the analog business and about 8% growth in that embedded processing business as well. The shares oscillating between gains and losses. Looks like right now up about 3% in the after hours trade.
Yeah, trying to decide what to do with that fourth quarter EPS miss. I will say that this is a stock that needed some good news. You think about how it's been performing over the past year or so, higher by just about 5%, 8% when you take a look at total return. That is far underperforming what we're seeing out of some of the other chip makers and what we're seeing in tech overall.
Not a lot of commentary from Haviv Alan, the chairman, president, and CEO of Texas Instruments, just calling out that revenue decreased 7% sequentially, but increased 10% from the same quarter a year ago. Over the past 12 months, we invested $3.9 billion in R&D and SG&A, invested $4.6 billion in CapEx, and returned $6.5 billion to owners.
Yeah, I'm just looking at free cash flow for the fourth quarter, $1.33 billion. That's up 65% year over year. So a big move there. R&D expenses are up about 6.1% year over year, coming in a little bit lighter. No, actually a little bit above what the street was expecting. So just keeping an eye on that one. Still up about 3.3%. And it's actually up for the year. I think it's up about 9 or 10% already here in 2026. So looking to build on that gain, Romaine.
Yeah, and just real quickly, I just want to check in on Qorvo, a much smaller cap company, but the share is down 11%, also in the chip space, more so for the mobile business here. The company saying that adjusted EPS did beat in this fiscal third quarter. It looks like adjusted revenue also beat here, but the guidance light, $775 million to $825 million for the fiscal fourth quarter revenue. The street on average was looking for $904 million. Shares down about 10%. All
right, guys, let's go to some of the individual gainers. Just want to mention Corning, which at its highs was up 20% in today's session, finishing with a gain of about 16%. I think it's the number one gainer in the S&P 500 on this Tuesday. This after the company announced a multi-year up to $6 billion agreement with Meta Platforms to supply optical fiber, cable, and connectivity solutions for Meta's advanced data center, supporting its AI ambition. So an AI play, as we know there. Corning, by the way, CNBC pointing this out, which reported the deal initially earlier today, saying Corning is expanding its facility to cater to rising demand from the likes of Meta, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. And that stock is certainly been quite an outperformer in today's trading, I should say, or actually year to date. I'll get it there eventually. It does report earnings before the market open tomorrow. We are awaiting Seagate, which is expected to report any moment. It's the number 4 gainer in the S&P 500, a top performer in the S&P 500 last year. And you can see that name actually up about 4.5% in today's session. Analysts have been raising their price targets ahead of earnings today in the last few days. And today, Mizuho Securities raised the target on Seagate to 400 from 370, maintaining its outperform rating. And this stock is already up about 40% year to date. I don't think it's out yet, but it should be reporting shortly. And then HCA Healthcare up about 7% here at the close today, I believe to a record close in today's session. Shares gaining after the company reported better than expected guidance, easing investor concerns about expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, I should say. And so that stock up about 7%. Katie, I think we have Seagate out.
We certainly do. Let's take a quick look at what's going on with Seagate, reporting that second quarter revenue came in at $2.83 billion. That is slightly ahead of estimates of $2.75 billion. For their adjusted EPS, that was was a beat as well, coming in at $3.11 for the second quarter. The estimate had come in at $2.83. You can see the negative reaction there as well. Looking for more detail, but have to imagine that comes down to the forecast, because taking a look at the second quarter results, certainly a lot of good news there.
Yeah, it's up 35% year to date. So a little bit of a decline on the day today with these earnings, down 3.2% after hours. Hey, speaking of stocks that are lower, let's take a look at some decliners today. Katie, you mentioned health insurance companies weighing on the trade today. We certainly saw that with UnitedHealth Group, CVS, and Humana. United down 19.6%, CVS down 14%, Humana down more than 21%. This after the U.S. proposed holding payments to private Medicare plans flat next year. UnitedHealth sees first annual revenue drop in more than 30 years. Also, shares of JetBlue took a leg lower today. The company reported a wider loss than expected last quarter. It's challenging its strategy to win over high-paying customers. As far as the numbers go, adjusted loss of 49 cents per share, 3 cents worse than the average analyst estimate. Shares of JetBlue down 6.9% today. Operating revenue did come in slightly ahead of Wall Street expectations. And finally, shares of Pinterest fell today. The company's laying off less than 15% of its workforce. It plans to reduce office space as part of a global restructuring. Shares fell today by 9.6%. It does expect the actions to be completed by the end of the third quarter and sees about $35 to $45 million in pre-tax restructuring charges. Pinterest down 9.6%.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.